Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's get some tunes going. It's you and me tonight, everybody. Thank you, Barigramus. Hi, Finley. Borborigramus. I need a snack bar at my desk? Same. I should pitch that to the office. Oh, the backwards world. I'm hanging till I eat breakfast. Welcome in from the other side of the world. Snack bar does sound nice. Actually, we get spoiled pretty good over there. You know what we have? I'm sure you've heard of this on stream, right? If you're on the Anvil, but the Runa consumption. The grass water energy drink. Comes in by the pallet, it seems. Snacks are bring your own, I suppose. But sometimes we have stuff. We did have candy for a while. I think someone has ordered a bunch of candy and had it there. No, not that kind of grass water. It, like, doesn't taste good, but it's around, so you start drinking it and then you get used to it. And they have, like, other flavors. There's, like, the original, or maybe it's, like, lime or something, and then it's, like, blood orange or something. They all just taste like grass to me. And I don't know if it's actually because it's clean and natural, or if they add it to make it seem like it's clean and natural, you know? But anyway, there's a lot of Runa that goes on at the old forge. Gotta keep those minds sharp. Yes, exactly. But for the sake of my anxiety, I'm trying to slowly not have caffeine. I hope the flavor is lime or something. Yeah, that's trademarked. The lime or something concoction. Deer eat grass and they are fast. That is true. That is true. They have great hearing. So maybe that will help some of my senses. I don't think their eyesight is very good. But other than that, I got lucky with my eyes, though. I'm waiting for the day when I gotta start wearing glasses or something. Dogs also eat grass. Can't say it makes them fast. Yeah, when, like, cats and dogs eat grass, they're just like, this is great, and I'm compelled to do this, and then they, like, throw it up in 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly, Keenan. But hey, new mini reveal? Just kidding, you've seen this one. But I had it partially painted from last time, so I thought I'd start with that and finish it. I think we have at least 2 more from the townsfolk. We'll see if we get to it today. But one of them is a tiefling. Have you seen this yet? Some kind of like religious leader or something like that. Yeah, I like the robes. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I love a good robe. I like painting capes and robes and stuff, right? Got a nice fake tall grass plant, had to get rid of it. Kit loved it too much. Oh man. Should have done a turtle. We had a lot of concepts being thrown around. If we had our way, we would do like every single thing ever in like the book, right? But we got a lot of concept art first and kind of slowly narrowed down our favorites. It's a Fisher tiefling? The one that got away is this big. Someone for the temple, yeah. The fish temple. I call my dog a sheep because of curly fur and likes to eat grass. You gotta shave it off once in a while. These are all hand sculpted. These are all hand sculpted. A lot of our minis are sculpted by Drew, and he has sculpted for a lot of like old school kind of like miniature campaigns and stuff. So it's all like that awesome like traditional scale, just green stuff, sculpt. So I like the style a lot. I forget if he has sculpted for Games Workshop, like the old world, like Warhammer Fantasy, but definitely miniatures in that style more recently. I've seen him. I backed a Kickstarter that he did work on that is like very much like Warhammer Fantasy Empire inspired. You just sculpted the thing with green stuff? And it was a nightmare? Hey, good on you for trying it out though, right? I understand though, I've done very little sculpting and it is kind of finicky, right? Like I haven't quite nailed down the workflow and like making it not stick to your tools. You know, I've used like water and stuff, but it's definitely a tricky thing. Doesn't shed first, so you have to trim them? Yeah. The human clippers can't even deal with the fur, huh? Yeah, it's all that thick wool. The mix of yellow to blue, that's interesting, yeah. Because it will sort of become green, but like, you're right, maybe there's like kind of a magical ratio that slightly affects the properties that you have to kind of get used to when you mix it. Yeah, he stands out the club. He's ready to whap any ruffians with the broom. Hi, Mace. Yeah, he says ID. ID, please. He has to scan it with the scanner. Times are a-changing, aren't they? They just scan the IDs. In New York, especially over the pandemic, when like ridership of the subway was down like 90%, almost every station that I've seen, you can use like your Apple Pay or your Phone Pay to get into the subway. They still have like the card swiper, but like I don't even use it anymore. Just use the phone. Elevate your message for $5? Yeah, only when Mace is in the chat, though. Wait, is that actually like a Twitch thing? Are you serious? Is that like just a general Twitch thing? It's kind of strange. What do they mean by elevate? I know they've been highlighting like Mace did with channel points, but now you can pay money. What does it do to the message? New City Mini Bean? Yeah, I showed off the tiefling. I'm gonna paint this Tabaxi since I have some paint on it, but kind of like a robed sort of some kind of religious leader or temple or something. Tyler? What on earth? I can't even repeat that. First, elevated message. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Vertex, for testing it out. It basically highlights it like a highlighted message, but there's like just a bright green thing that says $5. So I suppose I'd certainly see it pretty close. This is unprofessional. Oh gosh, why is your beef happening in my chat? Is this beef chat? I know I talk about Meat Mountain a lot, but come on. I wonder if it's like, if it's a big streamer or something, it's like, you know, everyone is highlighting messages with channel points. It's like half of them are highlighted and it like, Well, it also says like elevated message with like a so like there's more. It's bigger. It's like highlighted bigger. It's just highlighted bigger. It doesn't show up on mobile. Do you guys see the elevated message in your chat? That's interesting. Chat sponsored by Arby's. We have the meat, but not the beef, Tyler. I'm just kidding. I'm loving it. Oh crap, that's the wrong restaurant. Oh, it's pinned to the top. Okay, so maybe so it was already in my little chat widget here. It was in the same spot, but I wonder if it will like linger at the top once it gets up there. Wasn't a chat very active chat? We were all confused when it appeared. Oh, it's gone now. So it was pinned. Okay, so it pins it to the top. But it's weird because the idea is that it you know, shows up for the streamer, but it's not pinned for me. It's very like obvious, so I would probably see it, but it's like not pinned for me. Which, does that defeat the purpose? Unless you're just like trolling and you want to like put it in the chat. Legally, there's no beef in Arby's sandwiches? Yeah, because it's made of magic. Seemed fast and totally like something that would be missed. Yeah, that's strange. Like, I didn't miss it just because it was hanging out in the chat, and like, our chat isn't like racing like, you know, someone with 10,000 viewers or whatever. I only ever have beef with Mace. You heard it here first. Oh, the more you spend, so it's $5 and up. So the more you spend on the message, the longer it stays pinned. So I can't wait for like a troll to say something like that's not allowed and pin it and spend like 10-20 bucks on it, and then a mod just deletes it. I know no one in this chat would ever do that, but just like on Twitch generally. Huh. Oh, and your other streams are looking to disable it? Yeah, it does seem kind of dangerous for like the bad people on the internet. Do people spend money to troll? They already do, because everyone has a donation alert, or like like most streams do, and they say random stuff so that it pops up, and that you have to spend money for it to do the alert notification. I think for the most part, like, the miniature painting community is a lot smaller, so it's like those people don't show up. But on like the humongous streamers, that is just like every like middle schooler and everything like that plays Fortnite, yeah, they do that stuff. People spend $100 a troll. True. I've seen like upwards of $500 spent. Trolling ain't easy. Man, that's tough business. You need a lot of capital. Oh man. All right. How the heck did I paint this fur? Oh yeah, especially the text-to-speech. I would never do that if I was a streamer. Like, I get it. But then when people have that, they deliberately play like long messages that are nonsense so that it like talks out, or they'll just type, they'll spam like one letter 200 times. Some people are weird. Some people are just weird, you know? Oh my gosh, I just had a mental flashback as I was painting this cat. I haven't thought about this in ages. What popped in my head as I was painting his furry little paw. Cats, I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, and I dance. That's a relic. That's an ancient artifact at this point. Hey, can you take the dogs out for me? Thanks. Yeah, I'll just fly over to Minnesota real quick. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. My Uber's on the way to the airport. It's coming. Appreciate it. How many dogs do you have there now? You got yours and one foster? You can stream from the plane? Yeah, I'm sure like the Delta in-flight internet is impeccable. The upload has got to be incredible. Oh, you adopted the old fat one? Oh, that's awesome. That's gotta happen a lot, right? If I were fostering dogs, I would just adopt all of them. Someone gave me one of those, what were those dog fantasy miniatures? Dungeons and Doggies or something. I got to paint one of those. That was fun. That was just for fun, like in the office, because someone had bought it. I think I did like the Golden Retriever Wizard or something. Actually, that was interesting because I used like a size 6 brush. I used a brush that was like this, but it was newer, it had like a finer point. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try to paint a miniature with this. And it's actually went surprisingly well, just like using the tip or using like for base coating, just using that big belly. Hey, 13 seems pretty good to me. One of the times I was home in the past couple years, I found an old relic of a Games Workshop, a Citadel paintbrush. I think they called it like the tank brush or something. It was super beefy like this, and it had one of the kind of navy blue handles. Like back in the day, they were bright red. Then they went to like the blue. Now I think they're just black. They called it the tank brush. I was sitting in my mom's basement. Much like myself when I was using it, probably. Couple bright red ones. I also remember one of my first boxes was like, I think the 6th edition starter set with the Empire and Orcs and Goblins, and it came with those rulers, those bright red like measuring sticks. They were all about the bright red. I remember taking that to school. Like, my parents worked earlier than school started, so there was like this program for kids to hang out like before school started, and I brought this giant box of miniatures to sit and paint. That was my first time I think I tried priming in white for like the heraldry of the Empire, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was like 10 or 11. But I just saw in some, you know, on the back of the box or on a Citadel book or a White Dwarf or something, they're like, hey, you can also undercoat in white. And I was like, my god. But I didn't know how to like shade well, so it ended up with like a bunch of white spots in the crevices. Yeah, I'm glad she's doing well. Glad she's doing well. Appreciate you tuning in. Sometimes I'm curious, like, how true this looks to my eye versus the camera. It could also be my monitor that I'm seeing the feed at. I don't know. Nice bright green jerkin and purple fur. Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm going for. This nice purple here. Look at that purple face. Yeah, please post. Please post. Looks killer. Thank you so much. Maybe on one of these streams I'll have to try it. I just really like painting like red hair and fur, and I realize like I haven't painted a lot of cats, but I went with like the orange fur on this cat also. I don't know why. You know what? The only cat that I've owned growing up was an orange tabby. So maybe that's it. But I also just like the color and how you can go from like this nice reddish to like the yellow in between, and it makes it really vibrant. I don't know. I just like that result a lot. They do be cute. They do be cute. Actually, I'll tell you what. I went over to my friend's house yesterday to watch Rings of Power, and they have a sweet, sweet cat, but he's a little shy. And so, you know, I've started going over there for the past few weeks for like the episodes, and normally he just like hangs out in the room or something. Like in the other room, he's just like, no, I'm gonna hang out by myself. And there's stranger danger. And then the last time he kind of like came out toward the end, and it was just chilling, like, but at a distance, right? But when I got there yesterday, he was on the couch and he was chilling, he was relaxing, had sleepy eyes. So I sat down and he didn't move a muscle, and then he started like stretching into me, and I started scratching him, and he stayed there the whole time, and I was like, we're friends now. Ah. It was wonderful. It was my favorite part of that episode. Sleepy eyes is a sign of trust? Oh, heck yeah. Then I earned it. Or maybe he just really likes Rings of Power. I don't know. I also kind of like often, I don't know, just this sort of like ochre orange that kind of makes it a little more natural. Like, I like painting it as like hair and fur specifically. I don't like painting orange in general, because the pigments across like just the pigments used in any brand of paint are like not very opaque and whatnot. But I like doing like an organic kind of orange. That's a little earthy, but you can still make it like really vibrant. I might glaze like a bright orange on here. I don't know, we'll see, but he'd be the first. Hey, look. I am not among the haters. And like I'll say this about Star Wars or whatever, right? It's like Lord of the Rings is so freaking cool. And that, like, it's just more cool fantasy stuff, you know? So if it's like not Lord of the Rings, it's like, hey, you didn't hit the like S tier fantasy movie. Okay. It's still an A. I'll take a B plus even. C is passing. It's gotta be above that. It's still cool fantasy stuff. And I dig it. You know, I'm not... And maybe it's different for these people that are like the lore experts. But I'm not necessarily attached to it like that. I haven't, like, you know, memorized the histories and whatnot. So I can see how, you know, it might irk you if you, like, know the Cimmerillion and stuff. But I don't. Ignorance is bliss, I guess. It's above Wheel of Time for sure. I watched a few episodes of that. And I actually watched it recently. I hadn't seen it until I started watching Rings of Power. Because I was like, oh man, this has me so hyped for fantasy. I just want more fantasy. I gotta wait till the next episode. So I was like, what other fantasy like shows are out there? Because I've seen The Witcher. So I tried Wheel of Time, and I was enjoying it. And maybe I was biased because I was like, it's still more fantasy. Yeah, you know, that was your philosophy with this. But it's definitely not as visually appealing to me. I don't know, you know. I mean, it's one thing when you're Amazon and it's Lord of the Rings. It's gonna have all kinds of resources, but it looked a little. The costuming looked a little, a little LARPy or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Not that that's bad, but when it's a big budget show, maybe. You know what I mean. Warner Brothery. Yeah, true. I mean, it's, yeah. I couldn't get through the 42-page description of a fireplace for Wheel of Time, the book. I remember actually trying to start the series too, and I kind of felt the same. I'm like, honestly, not a great reader. I'm a slow reader anyway, so If it's really like getting into stuff like that, it's hard for me to keep my patience. But that said, I'm trying to start Way of Kings also, so that's a lot. That's a long book. Probably better than the first D&D movie. I looked into that after seeing the trailer of the latest upcoming D&D movie. I didn't watch it, but I think in fact you or someone in the chat suggested I specifically do not watch it. Have you read all the books real time? I haven't. I do mean to get around to it. I'm just like not in a routine where I read as much as I want to. So it is on my list to tackle as like an iconic fantasy series. It's slow and creates some fundamentals, but I don't super recommend it. It's just, you know what it is? I was talking about today with someone, Doctor Who. It's just so much stuff. It's long. Like Wheel of Time has like 87 books. And like Way of Kings, they're all long, but it's like 3 or 4 books, right? So, you know, I don't feel like the pressure, the crushing pressure in starting it. Reading Dragonlance, awesome. First 100 pages with some dude walking around. I think I remember those pages. I don't think I got to the end of the walk. So long to describe common things. See, I didn't read Game of Thrones either, but people said the same thing about that. People say the same thing about Tolkien. But it's like the good stuff is so good. Wilderness, I did see the Kickstarter for the miniatures. They look so cool, and I desperately do not need miniatures, and in fact, need to think about getting rid of some miniatures. So I was like, what perfect timing. I just started reading the book, and there's a miniatures Kickstarter based on it. This is perfect, except for the fact that I can't. I don't blame you for backing. Yeah, don't tell me about miniature Kickstarters. I have so many already. That's the thing. I have this phantom inventory of stuff being delivered. And especially because over COVID, it's been like delayed, right? So I'm getting stuff. I'm like, that was 2 years ago, me. Don't send me that. Just keep it. I can, don't, no. Return to sender. I can't, I don't have the space. You know what I did? You know, I have a giant box on the other side of the room. It's a terrain Kickstarter. Why did I back a terrain Kickstarter? I could borrow from the office if I really was gonna play. And I don't play games as much, like equivalent to the amount that I buy games. I love playing games. I love reading new rule sets. I love war games. But the number of games that I've actually played and completed versus the amount of stuff that I've bought, it's an astronomical difference. There's a discrepancy. I mean, this space that you can see on the camera is basically the space that I have, right? There's a bathroom and a kitchen, but like you're looking at it. And basically those closets there for clothes, right? Not here. Not here. Got a bunch of models in there. I gotta cull the collection. Also feeling called out. Okay. I would never hold it again. I enjoy it. The experience of getting all these miniatures, it fuels my imagination. You always have an idea when you buy a miniature, right? You buy it because you mean to paint it. But I live in a box. And I need more space. Damn, calling me out. I'm sorry. I'm just really, you know what? I'm projecting because I've been dealing with this over the past couple weeks of like, I think my environment is cluttering this environment. I need to like get rid of stuff and organize. A spring cleaning like 7 years in the making. I was happy I was able to cancel at least one big miniatures Kickstarter. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I also have like a board game and it's super cool, but it's like I bought it for the miniatures. I'm not going to play the game. I know I'm not going to spend the time playing the game. And on the Kickstarter board games, this is a great thing in their favor also, but the stretch, like they come with so much stuff. I backed the Bloodborne board game. The stack of boxes went up to my chin. So I sold that. Thankfully, that was relatively popular, so I was able to sell it. And I didn't even sell it for like a profit. I wasn't like, you know, hey, this came in now if you missed it. But I was like, sell it. A price to sell. Right? I have to DM forever to justify it? Yeah, honestly, same. This closet is almost all Dwarven Forge. And I keep... Why do I keep buying unpainted? I paint it all year long. When am I gonna paint my stuff? When am I gonna paint my Dwarven Forge? But I get to the pledge manager and I'm like, but I can get so much more stuff if it's unpainted. But then I don't need more stuff. But I want more stuff. And this is the miniature hobbyist struggle. Is it not? I built an extension on my house with Dwarven Forge. Yeah. It 100% is. I know y'all understand. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. But I have a cool opportunity where I'm like, what are the games that I'm like super excited to play and have around? Like for the office, or like what's this like the most exciting stuff? And my big thing is there's so many cool miniatures companies, like small companies making awesome miniatures that aren't for a specific game, which is great. And there's a lot of, it's great that there's miniatures agnostic systems coming out. But then I get all like just the random miniatures because they look cool. But I'm not like necessarily painting them for something, so I'm not like motivated to paint them so they sit there. But they're also smaller, so they don't like resell very well. So that's my big trap, is I have a large pile of that kind of stuff. Glad to support those companies. But as far as like the stuff that I would actually get around to painting, I don't know if that's like because I have too much. I have too much Warhammer. I have the Middle Earth game. I have Relic Blade, which I love the character of Relic Blade. I want to keep all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That is the board game mix. That's the board game I'm talking about, is Darkest Dungeon. The miniatures are so cool. They like nailed the cool illustrative style of the video game. But I'm like, what am I actually gonna do with the stuff? The game stuff. But that's why I caved on that one, because the miniatures are so characterful. Yeah, see? Y'all feel me on this, I know it. I don't know, part of me is just like, maybe I keep it and like I just like pump out a YouTube video every week or something. But it's easier said than done. I've been talking to Miles about that. Ain't gonna happen now. There's a lot of Kickstarter momentum happening at the old Forge, so... Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening as I literally set down the miniature. No brush movement whatsoever. Just the rant stream. And honestly, it's not just miniatures either, at least in this room. I've just like accumulated stuff and never gotten rid of anything. And it just starts taking up a lot of space, which I don't have. So like just for my own brain, trying to get rid of stuff. Water terrain. Fluid delivery. See, that happens whenever I see Tyler like walk into the studio room with a package because they get delivered over there. It's like everything that's Dwarven Forge. But sometimes he like, you know, he makes eye contact with me and he's like, hey, because I'm right in front of the door. And then he's holding a box and I think, what did I buy now? And it's kind of one of those things where he's like, hey, and he veers away from me and I'm like, whew, all right, I dodged another box. I dodged the box. Group therapy time. Yeah, exactly. This is a support group for impulse buyers. I've always said buying miniatures is a completely separate hobby, and damn, am I good at it. He went next door, not to my house. Yeah, exactly. That feeling of like, you're peeking through the curtain. Okay, he's gone. You love painting terrain, but not the minis? Yeah. Well, there's more and more ways to get pre-painted miniatures out there. Of course, there's the old Dwarven Forge. Actually, what I like about these is some of these, I think they could be cool character minis, some of them. Right? That one in particular. Even this one, that... What the heck did I do with it? Oh, it's literally right next to me on the desk. Even something like this, maybe. Speed paints seem very approachable. Yes. I have tried them. At Adepticon, I bought the starter set. And let me tell you what, I will never, ever buy contrast paints. They seem like a great tool. And I hate to, you know, say the same thing we've heard a million times before, but the GW prices are just a bunch of BS. And the pots. The pots. Why are they still like that? So the speed paint for the price is incredible. I've used it. It basically does the same thing, but it's cheaper. Vallejo, I heard, is making some, yes. And I'm obviously not the first one to do this. This is on YouTube, but what I buy is this stuff. It's definitely more expensive, but you get a giant freaking thing of it, right? And it's basically the same stuff. Formulated a little differently, like you might need to tweak certain colors with medium and whatnot. But, I've just... And part of it, too, is I've gotten more fluent in, like, mixing and stuff, so I like kind of the single pigment stuff, or, like, the art brand stuff. But I wanted to try the speed paints, and maybe I would get a couple colors here and there if I was army painting. Honestly, I mean, I have so many paints, I'll never probably buy paints again either. So this is like kind of a moot point because I have so many freaking paints. But I don't know if I'll buy mixed colors again. I think I would only use them if I was like painting an army and I needed it to be consistent, like out of the pot. But otherwise, I just like am more used to mixing stuff and adjusting as I go. But obviously, they're great for learning. They're great for painting your armies. And I already have hundreds of paints, so like I can't be like, I don't think I'm gonna buy anymore because I don't need them, but I have them. So shut up, Hamster. But I don't think I necessarily like buy like a whole set of other paints at this point. That's fair, Steven. I guess yeah, out of the pot they do have the little lip that you can just get the little drop of contrast out of there. And like I said, they're a great tool and they're accessible. So, you know, I'm not necessarily fully against contrast paints. I just have other stuff. So I don't like necessarily need to get, but like if you're in your game store and they have Citadel paints, it's like, yeah, 100% pick some of those up because they are a very cool tool. And it's a fun way to paint, I think. It's a I don't think it's as beginner friendly. It takes some getting used to if you've done like more traditional layering painting. But once you get used to them a little bit, they're a super cool tool and can have awesome results fast. And I think they're a cool starting point. Like I've been thinking about, you know, when I finally get around to painting a unit or an army, of like, you can give them the Zenithal Prime, hit them with your contrast effect, and they're table ready right there, but you can continue painting it and like do all the stuff that I would do like on something like this as I'm highlighting, right? And like render it and detail it as much as you want from there, but you get like that first wave done really fast with like a nice little bit of variation here and there. So straight out of the pot, so when I buy more stuff later it's easier to match. Well, yeah, and that's a favor of pretty much not only the contrast but what I was saying about like any of your pre-mixed paints. I don't know. Part of me has been thinking in the same vein of what I was saying is like, if I got rid of paints, what would I keep? Like if I just picked out of my hundreds of freaking paints, what would I keep? So I'm happy to use these tools because I have a lot of them. So I would, if someone was interested in learning contrast, I would never say don't do it. It's not a bad product. It's a great product. But just like, if I had to pick like, I almost said 10, I would want to do more than that. Like probably 20 or 30 paints. Like what would I hold on to? I don't think I'm going to get rid of anything. But we'll see. I don't know. Contrast salamanders, that'd be cool. Red, yellow, blue, black, white, gray. See, I don't know if I go that bare bones. Because there's some things I want for certain effects, right? But that is basically what I have here. I'm just using these. But I have these, what did I bring these out for? The transparent paints I had out for something. I think, you know what I like to do is, on metallics, I kind of just like paint everything silver and then like tint it with transparent paints to like make it whatever. If I'm doing true metallic, that's how I like to do it. CMYK is a cool way to paint. I'm trying to think of what I used for cyan. I love magenta. I love too much. Man, I'm trying to think. I know I've done the CMYK before. I forget which paints I actually used. But it did seem, I remember, like, more flexible in a way, I guess? I don't know. Alright, now we're getting pretty orange. But that's, again, why I like painting this way because you can go really orange and then sort of like give it that more natural fur look with like the orangey highlight. This one a little white up here actually. Maybe I'll change that. But I don't know. There's a lot of things I just want to try and practice, like certain palettes. Like there's some good videos on like the Zorn palette and that kind of thing, doing a limited palette kind of style. So I don't know, but I think my miniature painting materials are going to be the last things to go, if I'm honest. Especially because they're generally pretty small. I have a lot, so they'll take up space for sure, but they are easier to store. So I don't think I'll be getting rid of any of that stuff anytime soon. Iron Maiden concert, that's awesome. Have fun, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, interference there is a cool effect. And once you're kind of used to it, it's like easy to get cool effects. Like basically just interference over a black base is like instant impact. So I'm glad you're trying it out. I also I want to experiment with some fluorescent paints. And using those a little more. I've used them for like certain OSL things or whatever, but I have seen... Who is this guy on Instagram? That are some of the paint throughs, and every once in a while there'll be like a process little photo gallery or something. And I think for saturation, there was like on almost every color, and this is not, I'm not gonna say it's all of their miniatures that they do this, but every surface of the miniature like had a certain layer of fluorescent paint, and it was a really cool effect. Obviously very, very stylistic looking, but in a super cool way. And of course there's always the Wapple Oils journey to take. Not Sergio Calvo, but I think he's used some of that too. I'm really interested in watching his channel is mostly like time lapses now, which I love watching. Because he shows like the paints and stuff, but it's mostly like you just watch and interpret what he's doing, or just like seeing it. It's not like verbalizing a step by step. It's just like, oh, that's interesting, like what he's doing there. And then you sort of translate it to like your own workflow. I think it's like AKA Studio or something I'm thinking of, or is it Aka Studio? I don't know. He has a hole in his finger. This is prototype material, so there's some little defects. Holy finger. Yeah, exactly. The brush tip doesn't want to go. Good night, Wilderness. Thanks for hanging. Some candy corn disappeared on my desk. It's cone! I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Could be worse. This music is an artist named Amy Waters. If you've been here with us when Chris has been on here, she's a friend of his from the Northwest, I think. And just does like a lot of remixes of video game music, oftentimes, and some purely original stuff too. And I think on here I've even seen there's like a single that like Magic the Gathering commissioned or something. But yeah, it's a lot of video game inspired stuff. We're gonna quick get anything on these other details here. Spent a long time up top on the fur. What time is it? That's only 7. You ever had this where you're looking at like a screenshot or something that you took or was sent to you, and they have the same phone as you, and so they screenshot the entire like screen of the phone, and so the clock is on it. This is happening to me more often than I'd like to admit, but I'm just like, holy crap, I didn't know it was that time already. And I'm just looking at an image. And like I know I'm looking, I'm like, oh look at what they sent me, and then I'm just like used to looking at my phone screen, so I'm like, holy smokes, zoinks. I avoid this issue by not texting anyone. Pro tip: have fewer friends and even less that you communicate with. All right, noted. Noted. All my friends use Discord. Who needs texting? It really is such a great platform. I wish it was like known in a workplace setting. Am I crazy? It's like in the world of like video meetings and calls for meetings. It's just way better than like Zoom. Yeah, I can't send Guy Fieri emotes over text. True. All right, green eggs. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or a dozen duck-sized horses? Listen, horses, because of their size and strength, are like terrifying. I would take an army of duck-sized horses because like the sweeping attacks, right? You could potentially, you know, take out more of them by certain means than I would just one-on-oneing a massive creature. It's Morbin time. Anyone who answers horse-sized duck is a friggin'... Yeah, like... Just the sheer... Their mass alone. They could overpower you so easily. Whereas, like, you could punt the ducks. You could just punt those suckers. Exactly, it weighs a literal ton. They don't even have to hardly do anything. Like, the equivalent of, like, think of, like, a horse kicking, or okay, it's a webbed duck foot. But when they just, like, kick, even to them, it's like swatting a fly. It's like 50% energy. And that still has the strength, like, it's unimaginable. You know, I ain't screwing with anything that big. And I know this because I've actually been kicked by a horse. I did a YMCA day camp for horse riding, and my horse got too close to another horse, and that horse didn't like that other horse being next to it. And so it tried to kick the other horse and kick me in the shin. It was not fun. That explains your face. It didn't kick me in the face. No, got him. It made us collapse under its own weight. Actually true, the skinny little duck legs, like how could such a creature even like move around at that size with those legs? Oh, this paint's getting thin. would befriend a horse-sized dog. That's the thing. You want them on your side. You don't want them against you. Ostrich? Okay, fair. Fair. You don't fight... I wouldn't fight an ostrich either. Here's the thing. It probably wouldn't fight me. It'd stick its hand in the sand. But if it feels threatened enough, you know, they might get after you. Went to an emu farm once. See, that'd be cool. If there's a nice, safe little fence right there, and they're just kind of checking you out, and I'm checking them out there, like, hey, we're all friends here. That'd be great. But if they're trying to beat me up, I'm running for the dang hills, and I won't outrun them. I've already failed if they're against me. I've already failed. I'm already done for. Everyone has an emu phase? Oh my, I just got it. I had to read it out loud to get it. Well done. Well done. Certainly had my emu phase. Simple Plans song, Untitled. How could this happen to me? I had that on repeat. They basically have daggers for talons. Yeah. Useless farm. What's that? Is it actually a farm? The heck is this? Like automatically went to like a radio for some reason. Maybe I don't have it on repeat. Play Freebird. Yeah, I definitely want a copyright strike on my works channel. Which actually I've done that before in accident. I used a tool, like a player, a music player that's like, this is designed for streamers. No copyright strikes. It's all people submit the music for usage on streams, and I got freaking strike. What the heck? How'd I get fired? Yeah. They rescue all the animals? I'm into that. There's a lot of great farm accounts out there. Yeah, I don't know if they're rescuing. That's why, if the emos are fighting back, that's why they're pissed. They found out. Hey, on the line, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. You painting tonight? Any more goblins? I really badly want to paint some Middle Earth. I don't know why. I'm kind of hyped on the game. Maybe it's Rings of Power, I don't know. But the rules just make it seem like cinematic as a game. Like Warhammer's just turned into like, this is broken. It's like, I just want to push miniatures around and make cool stuff happen. I know it's been a little bit since you've been here. I'll need a break from the hobbits. Oh, the guardsmen. Alright, sweet. Oh, you got to play a game Middle Earth? That's awesome. I just read through it. I've watched a couple battle reports and whatnot. Yeah, it just seems cool. Is that in focus? Just need some grunge. Oh, you played the skirmish version. I was kind of curious about that. I didn't know that that came out, like that was a thing until recently. You know what I should do? I gotta figure out like what locally has a player base and focus on that. But maybe there's a Middle Earth community out there somewhere out here. Hobbit archers are mean. I'm trying to remember. I don't know about battle companies, but isn't there like a limit to the number of archers you can have like in your army? But I'm interested in Rohan, and I think it's something like the riders of Rohan have ranged weapons, but they like don't count for your bow count or something. So it's kind of one of the strengths of their army, since they're usually like lower numbers and whatnot with like the cavalry. That's one of their strengths, is they have like somewhere range so they can kind of scout around a little more. The interest seems to be up. Well, and it must be too because Games Workshop is like releasing new stuff for them, which I feel like hasn't happened in a long time. There'd be random like Forge World or maybe, but I mean, though they made those huge battle host boxes. They're not all new models, but they're like, the fact that they're thinking about that game at all is kind of surprising to me in a good way. That Fellowship re-release is cool, and it's like just again, I don't need new miniatures, but I'm like, dang it, I do want that set very badly. Yeah, the battle hosts are cool. Like if I didn't already have, I have the Pelennor Fields plus extra riders. I think I wanted to convert Riders Rohan into Royal Guard, because the Royal Guard are only metal and they're like stupid expensive for what you get. But then I basically filled out all the armies in the Pelennor Fields box. I have the Mordor Rohan extras, and I have the Army of the Dead as like a whole force. Oh, that's cool. Was this on the Warhammer channel, or where did they stream that? Does Games Workshop just have a Twitch? Or do they just do some little Middle Earth on Warhammer TV? Oh, that's cool. All my paint's getting a little thin on here. Oh, they got campaign stuff too? That's cool. I did briefly do some Crusade on 40k on Tabletop Simulator. I otherwise haven't done a lot of campaign systems, but it is fun to read through them when I see them in a rulebook. Yep, this is one of the townsfolk. This one was revealed before, but the brand new one that we haven't seen yet is this tiefling. That's kind of neat. I like the robes. I'm pretty sure the marble was a decal. They stuck onto certain sections. So I don't know if that's gonna be happening anytime soon. Again, it's doable. Like a decal type thing is doable, but I don't know. It hasn't been on my mind for anything recently. Yeah, I think no, I don't. I think it's a straight up decal. I don't know if they could pull that off painted. But it's like a decal like based on art that we sent them or something. It was before my time, but it's something like that. Oh yeah, no, it would have been astronomical to hand paint that. I just have to get rid of all my sticky tack. I don't actually like using it for this. Gets all over. And especially like my hand starts pushing, especially on this smaller thing that I'm using. My fingers are up in the putty. So maybe that's the problem. I've been liking the sticky mounting tape, like the foam tape. Probably more. Alrighty. Well, I'll throw some paint around on this here. For the final stretch. Oh shoot, I wish I had some of my painted drafts of this, but I took them into the office, I just realized. It's the final brush down. Kazoos? Imagine that song on kazoos. Oh man, I would pay to see that. I'm gonna try something kind of warmer on the robes. I want them to be almost white maybe, but I'm doing like cool whites more recently. I saw a really cool, speaking of Middle Earth, that like someone's painted Gandalf on Facebook or something. It was like a nice warm white. But you can tell I'm getting impatient because I'm pulling paint off the dang piece. It is gonna be messy painting something really light over a dark base. Just gotta be patient with the layers, I'm telling myself, so I don't try to rush this. Alright, it's hair dryer time. Yeah, these will be painted and unpainted. Obviously, the factory paint won't look quite as detailed. But I'm confident that they'll be able to paint these up pretty good because the sculpts kind of lend themselves to be. There's like nice separation on all the parts. Like there's not anything that's too fiddly that they, I think, would have trouble with. But I also think these are some of the coolest like miniature sculpts to paint. At least, especially compared to the old city town folk. It's a good level of detail, but a pretty quick paint. Unless you're overly fiddly like me. Good classic fantasy style. Yeah, I was saying this earlier. I mean, the sculptor that we had do these has always hand sculpted, has done a ton of miniature campaigns that are just like that old school style, the kind of more traditional scale. And they have a lot of character. Yeah, so I'm kind of hoping people try these unpainted this time around. Especially like even if you're not one to paint like all your terrain, these might be a fun way to try painting. Just because they're smaller, and you know, if you're buying them for townsfolk, they're kind of background extras, so you know it's kind of low stakes to maybe try painting it up yourself. But I think that Dragonborn, the sculpt I just showed a second ago, is one of my favorites. It's just a dynamic pose. I don't know, it's kind of the S shape. The Dragonborn can be so many different colors. I was even thinking of trying one with interference paint on it. Kind of shimmery, scaly sort of effect. I like that one a lot. Just slapping a base down. Trying to get some opacity where I try to build up too much light. If I get ahead of myself, it'll just be kind of muddy. Parts like this showing the dark underneath. There's some areas here that are still showing the dark base, so I just kind of want to hit them with something that'll support my warm light I want to do on top. Instead of trying to get opacity with this brighter color, lighter. Maybe I do need more of an intermediate kind of layer. I don't know, I gotta practice painting different versions of white. A lot of times I end up like painting most of it white and then like shading it to tint the white because like my shadows go too dark. I don't know if I'm just impatient of these first layers like I kind of am now, so it doesn't build up enough opacity to like get to a white looking thing. But a lot of times, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm almost like doing these steps and then painting white over it to like lighten the darkest darks. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Paint over your darkest darks, Hammy. Bob Ross. Yeah, he told me that once. It was good advice. Just gotta build opacity. It's interesting when I go to a lighter thing. Like, I'm like, oh, this is probably light enough, but then already you see, like, all the dark showing through on this side. It's like, oh yeah, that'll be good to start lighting it up. It's like, well, now I like that even better, kind of. So philosophical. That's why we come to Hamster's Hobby Hang. For the philosophy and the Arby's. God, I wish I had Arby's right now. I'm starving. There's only one that I know of in the whole of New York City. You know, the food capital of the world, one of them. And I'm thinking about, where's the Arby's? Ugh. New York City. They got Arby's. The city that never meets. Wait, what's craft? Is this something I should have heard of? You know what I miss back home's Culver's. A gourmet sandwich place? Oh man, I've grown fond of sandwiches out here. I didn't know the beauty of the sandwich because I just like grew up making them myself for my lunchbox. But ooh, a bodega sandwich just the way you like it? Ooh! I think when I've been painting white too, I leave like too much of an area of shadow. Like it's all gonna end up pretty darn light. So just try to make that slim shadow there. Oh, that's right, the Italian Berigrimus. I remember that too. Like that's like one of the last times I remember like kind of going out and about that way, like before the pandemic. Slim Shady? Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Fried cod on Kaiser roll with tomato salad garnish? Oh my god. That sounds incredible. Let's see if the grill's still open at the bodega after this guest sandwich. Just got for time. Oh, it's already 8. I'll just stick to the front of the rope here. Try to get it a little closer. Oh, there's a little defect there. That's why it's giving me trouble. Gordon Ramsay? That's me. World-renowned chef. Well, in the hamster world. This brush is splitting on me. Stop it. There's no way that you are going bad. I may or may not have made one cooking video that exists on the internet. I always forget about that. The hairnet. What on earth, Stephen? Jeez Louise. I don't know why I was like, oh, there's a little bit of time left. I'll just start painting something that's white. That'll be quick. No, I am enjoying working on this though. I haven't had a base in this like kind of color and temperature really before. It's kind of fun. Seeing how it develops. Welcome back, Steven. I don't know what that means, but welcome as well, Dobbin. It's kind of neat. Kind of interesting way to do a sort of white cloth. If I had my way, I might fiddle with it more, but I need a sandwich. Orange kitty cat ended up a little, you know, I said all that stuff about painting orangey fur, but this ended up a little orangier than I've done it in the past, but that's all right. Let's see here. Yeah, from the bodega. I'm checking out next week. It looks like I'm gonna be out next Thursday for a bachelor party. Let's see. And I don't see an on the anvil when, oh no, that is on the schedule. Okay. So there's likely an on the anvil next week. But check out the Discord for those announcements. Chris usually puts out an announcement for the week's streaming schedule. I know. No, none of that, Steven. I guess there'll be whitewater rafting, so if I don't come back, you know why. But yeah, stay tuned for On the Anvil Wednesday, and I'll be back the following week for, I guess, the last Townsfolk miniature. We have one more we haven't painted. I miss y'all too. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I will see